Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a rat race? The term rat race is familiar to most of us. It describes a work or career that feels like a never-ending, useless, and even self-defeating endeavor. People who are mired in the rat race are unhappy because they are merely going through the motions of life. They go to work each day feeling drained and uninspired, and they return home feeling the same way. Welcome to Financial Fluence. In this video, we'll talk about life's financial trap, the rat race. Let's now get going. After graduating from college, you enter the rat race. You can afford to pay for your college tuition when you have your first job, which pays enough money. After that, you buy a television from the store. The following item on the list might be a car. So while you wait for the ideal car, you purchase a vehicle that serves your needs. You put in more effort, which results in a promotion and a wage increase. You should take advantage of this chance because you can now move into a slightly more expensive and luxurious home. The cycle of dreaming big, working hard to realize that dream, then moving on to the next one is never ending. Wikipedia says that the rat race is a continuous self-defeating or pointless pursuit that often involves a lot of intense competition and comparison. The rat race is a competitive journey with an ambiguous end. To gain some perspective, I want you to meet Steve and Angela. Steve and Angela were classmates in college. It was no surprise that they ended up in the same business class because they had both always enjoyed playing with numbers. When college became overwhelming, there was a combination of weekend partying and a few all-nighters. They both put in little effort into their studies, yet they completed their tasks on time and kept respectable grades. They all valued these nights, which were usually the best of their months. Let us fast forward to the time when they graduate from college, land respectable jobs, and inadvertently slink their way into the workforce. They naturally decided to keep in touch and got together to play Scrabble once a month, as most college pals seem to do. At least once a month, they used to meet together for a few hours to play games and discuss their experience in college. After a while, Julie was promoted and had to relocate to a different place. Soon after, Steve met and married his fiancée, and after a year of dating, he proposed to her. He put in a lot of hard work at work, which resulted in a promotion. Steve used to drive an old beat-up Toyota Corolla, but he couldn't drive it around with his new department head position at work, so he got a new car and sold the old one. When his wife became pregnant, they had to move to a larger house to prepare for the child. He obtained a mortgage, a second car, and college funds for his children, and he kept reminding himself that he needed to start investing in stocks. Every year, expenses suddenly increased. Steven complained, and he had to work even harder at work to get more money. Angela, on the other hand, never got around to marrying. Getting forward in her work was everything to her. When she graduated from college, she realized how much time she had squandered on unimportant matters. Angela's job advancement was uncomplicated, thanks to the self-discipline she had instilled in herself. So, she climbed the corporate ladder, beating out department heads for the managerial position, then other managers for the managing director post, before finally moving to a different business for a higher-paying role. Steve was driving to a conference 20 years after graduating from college when he felt the rat race descend on him. Because of how much time he spent at work, his marriage was on the rocks. He adored his children but rarely spent time with them. His career was advancing and his investments were bearing fruit. He was still unhappy. He had believed that having a large income, a luxurious car, and making sure his children had the finest opportunities would make him happy. Instead, he was worn out from attempting to advance while seeing no end in sight and from repeatedly performing the same menial tasks. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Let's return to the video now. He only yearned to be back in their cramped college dorm room where they could get wasted, play Scrabble, and bash Play-Doh. Steve made a call to his Scrabble team and made plans for a meetup while he was in the car. Only Angela showed up. That evening they talked about the rat race and whether they were relieved to have completed their goals by the time they graduated from college. Were they able to see the horizon's end? Was it ineffective? Instead of continuing with their mundane lifestyle, Steve believed there had to be a better way. Angela was mostly happy with her life because she didn't know what else to do besides wear her power suits. She was fed, clothed, and allowed to take her expensive and infrequent holidays, and finally, she was as happy as the rat race could make her. Getting out of life's financial trap that evening, when she arrived home, Angela made the decision to look into alternative options. Was there any reason to constantly advance her career? She had grown to detest her job and its monotonous nature. She decided to see if leaving the rat race would improve the quality of her life after reading a few books and browsing through articles on certain websites. First, she needed to ascertain whether she was participating in the rat race. She couldn't possibly back out of something she hadn't admitted to being a part of. She then posed these 3 basic queries to herself. Is there a resolution in sight? No. Her job progress was an ongoing, lifelong process. Was competitiveness a factor in her life and career in general? Immensely. It was her sole opportunity for advancement. Was it described in contrast? Not much, but there was still enough to cause alarm. Angela's next task was to ascertain whether there were any other ways she could generate revenue. Her main source of income came from the rat race, so when she decided to leave it, she needed to find another source of income. She did a brainstorming activity and found that she couldn't do anything else besides math. She just rarely enjoyed painting and drawing, but that was it. The alternatives exploration: how can you earn money by painting and drawing? As she pursued her interests, Angela had to ask herself this question. She chose to extend her workdays at home as a solution. However, Angela found comfort in her artistic endeavors. She enjoyed simply exploring new things and wasn't necessarily reliant on them to support her. She took an absurdly long time to unwind after a hard day's work, but she enjoyed it. She looked into the various ways she could simultaneously make money from this hobby. Ultimately, Angela was taking a break from her day with something that wasn't focused on earning money or moving up, which allowed her to eventually escape the rat race. Angela had to decide what she needed and let go of what she didn't in order to avoid becoming completely reliant on her day job. Her trips had to be affordable, her clothes had to be useful, and she didn't need a driver since she could drive herself. Steve was unable to escape the rat race because his fear of losing his job, competitive nature, and desire to be like his peers all worked against him. He convinced himself that, after all of this, he would retire to a small fishing village on some coast and be content. Angela, on the other hand, bided her time by making small changes in her life and realizing that happiness is not a distant goal to be achieved. It must be achieved right now. Let's jump ahead 2 years. Angela leveraged her business ties to start her own design firm in school, which she now owns and runs. Despite not being profitable now, she hopes to be in a few months. By that time, she will have the choice of managing the business herself or hiring a manager. Angela would have left the rat race and could now start enjoying her life on her own. This is but one illustration of the challenges that many people in the contemporary world face. Unfortunately, the bulk of people will have to work for a living during most of their prime years. You are not compelled to go this way though. And that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy similar stuff, check out my other videos. And if you like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.